Daniel, great to see you. Hope you're well.
Good to see you.
You must be loving life at Liverpool at the minute.
Yeah, I am. It's been really good, to start my career here, and things have been going well, and long may it continue.
I think the fact is that you sort of hit the ground running. Since you come in January, you were scoring goals, you were playing well. Do you think that's endeared you to the fans a little bit quicker?
I'd say so. Yeah, I think it's obviously difficult if you don't start scoring early on. I mean, you've had a long career and you know what it's like when you're playing, and when you do get goals, it kind of settles your nerves a little bit, and it allows you to express yourself that little bit more, and you don't feel like you're under pressure. And the fans have been unbelievable with me, and they've helped me out a lot to settle into Liverpool, not just the club but in the area as well. So it's been great to be here.
Well, listen, to be honest, I don't really want to ask you this question because I don't agree with it. Because I mean, a lot of the media, a lot of the fans, not Liverpool fans, but fans all over the country think, this might be your last big chance playing for a big club. Do you feel that way? No,
not at all. But this is a big club anyway, so for me, I mean, maybe I'll be here to the end of my career, maybe I won't, who knows, but I certainly don't feel like it was the last chance, because I'm 24, I'm still young, and I've still got a lot of time, and I think that it's important for myself. I mean, mentally I want to keep improving every day on the training field and in the gym, and mentally in every way I want to keep improving to become as good as I can be, and it's important for me that I sort of fulfill the potential that I had as a kid, because a lot of players, they have potential and they don't fulfill it, and I don't want to fall into that trap of being somebody that was a good youngster and then they end up not getting to where they wanted to. So. Well,
just go obviously back to the last chance. I think it's just the next chance, because look, I think, obviously forgive me for saying this, but there's a fine line between cockiness and arrogance. Look, I know what you are, I know what lad you are, I know what type of player you are, but people will sometimes see the wrong side of you. Yeah,
I mean, I always laugh at that, to be fair, because you've obviously known me from when I was 15. You saw me at City when I was a young kid, bright-eyed, and I can still remember the first training session actually when I trained you.
I must have nutmegged you.
You was alright. You was twisting me up, but it's not even that. I remember the finishing session that we did, because I'll never ever forget it. Because I remember we did like a passing drill, and then we did a shot. And I think Anelka was there at the time as well, and he was letting me do the shots. But I remember your finishing specifically. I always said you was the best one. I'm not, blowing smoke up you and all that, but I remember because you was.
No, you can.
Obviously, I'm gonna let you know. You were the best finisher I've ever seen. Still to this day, it was unbelievable. Both feet, and when I saw that, I thought I've got to work on my right foot now, because I couldn't allow it to happen to me. But yeah, as I said, back to the arrogant side. I think that. People will always have opinions until they meet somebody, and not just them. I'll have opinions of people before I meet them as well, and I think it's just human nature. So for me, I don't mind it if people say I'm arrogant, say I'm cocky, whatever they want to say. I know I'm not, and anybody that meets me know I'm not. So I don't mind it.
To be honest, I will second that as well, because obviously I've known you for a long time now, and back to. Obviously back to watching me train and me watching you train, and I was obviously very impressed from a young age. I couldn't really tell you that because I thought you might have took my place.
No chance, I was too young at that time there.
You were still good enough, mate. But listen, what that goes back to you watching me finish, and now people ask me all the time about being a natural goal scorer. Are you a natural goal scorer?
I'd probably say so, only because you can't explain how you get in situations sometimes. I'm sure for you in your career, you've scored goals and you feel like, how did that happen? Like sometimes you score a goal just naturally without even thinking about it. Some of the goals I've scored this season, like Aston Villa for instance, it all happened so fast and I didn't know what happened at the time, but it just happened, and then you'll get little tap-ins.
But the natural goal scorer to me is, someone who's clever, someone who can play with a teammate, someone who knows where the ball's going to be, being in the right place at the right time. But people sometimes forget, you actually work hard at your game, you work hard at your finishing. Now after training, do you stay behind and do a lot of finishing drills or shooting sessions?
I'm one person that I won't always do shooting sessions. I'll do specific things, like for instance, I thought my heading needed to improve. So I've been working on my heading for the last, closer to the start of the season, when with Pascal and Mike Marsh, I've been working on my heading with them. My right foot, doing specific things. I like to do specific ones. I don't like to do, the one where you pass it out to the edge of the box and you take a touch and shoot, because I think it's unrealistic for me. So I prefer to do, okay, the ball gets played there, shoot like that. That's what I prefer. It's more repetition so that I can, in the game, it's natural.
Well, I'm glad you said that, to be honest, because I remember, a few weeks ago you went round the keeper against Arsenal and your right foot. Exactly.
So that's kind of that finish there. Since I missed that chance, I said to Pask, I want to learn how to take that shot first time on my right foot, because that's not something. It comes natural to me to do what I did. That was a natural thing, to go around the goalkeeper, knowing now that at the time, if I'd have took it, maybe shot, I would have hit the target possibly. Maybe I'd have scored. Who knows? But I know now that in certain situations, you have to take that first time on your right foot. Maybe I've not got that finish down to a T yet, and I don't feel like it doesn't come natural to me to do it because I'm left-footed.
So we'll obviously keep it up and keep trying hard and keep getting the chances, because I was worried about, obviously you could have missed chances as a forward, but what worried me is if you weren't getting into position to get them. Now you're doing that and nothing seems to faze you, even when you do miss a chance and you'll get another chance 5 minutes later and you'll put it in the back of the net. Do you feel as though you're big and strong enough and clever enough to not to let that worry you?
Yeah, I mean, it's important, I think, that when you get chances, sometimes you only get one chance though, and you have to be clinical, and then there's other times where you will get 4 or 5 chances. I just think that I try not to put pressure on myself to score goals, because when I do that, I don't feel like I perform as good. I just like to let things happen, and when I go into the game, I don't like to worry about scoring the goals. I just let it naturally happen and try and score.
Okay, and obviously you're from obviously a bit of a footballing family. Your uncle played. Obviously played against him a few times himself. He's not a bad player. Is your father a football player or?
Yeah, he played for Birmingham City. He wasn't in the first team, he was in the reserves, and I think that he kind of put everything into me making it after he didn't get there, and he coached me a lot when I was a kid and taught me a lot of skills, and me, I always used to watch players. Like when I remember that finishing session, I always remember it because it's in my mind. I always like to keep things there, and I always like to study other players. And when my dad taught me, he always used to force me to watch the videos at the time, and I didn't like to, but I always did it because he wanted me to. And now I realise it's important, and I do it myself.
Okay, and obviously your dad's obviously very instrumental in your career, as you say. And how did he feel about the moves that you had, and in particular this move to Liverpool? He
was from when we moved to Manchester. He was the person who sort of got that deal done when I moved from Birmingham, and it was strange for me to move away from a big city. When we moved to Manchester, as I said, I trained with the first team when I was 15, and it was all great. Then Kevin Keegan got sacked, and it was all the things that I thought were going to happen earlier didn't happen as early as they would have if that manager was in charge. And then I went to Chelsea from Man City, obviously, and again that was a learning curve. It was a place that you go somewhere and you're told that you'll get opportunities, and then they don't come as often as you'd like to. But when Liverpool came calling, it was an easy decision for me. And there was no need for advice from anybody. There was no need for anybody to tell me anything about the club or try and sugarcoat me or anything like that. It was an easy decision, and once I heard they were interested, it was easy to sign.
Brilliant. Okay, mate, on to your England career. Obviously, I think you nailed on, and you're not going to say.
No.
You're not going to say. But look, you and Wayne Rooney, I think, are nailed on to play. You're not going to say that.
I hope so. Well, we'll see.
I think that's the case. Are you looking forward to participating in the World Cup in Brazil?
I am, yeah, if I'm there, obviously. But it's always been a dream of every player, and if I can get there and fitness permitting and the manager selection, obviously, then it'll be great to be there, to be involved. I've never performed for the full squad on a big stage, whether it be Euros or the World Cup. So it'll be amazing, won't it? And I'm sure everyone will look forward to it, not just the players but the fans.
And how good
as well.
will it be to to get on that plane with the the 4 other members who played against Denmark? We've obviously Glenn Johnson, Jordan Henderson, Raheem Sterling, and of course Stephen.
I think the boys deserve it. Obviously Stevie's captain and Jono's senior in the England squad, but I think for Raheem and for Jordan, of course, I feel they deserve to be there for all the hard work we've done as a team at Liverpool and where we are and where we've come, how far we've come in the past year. So I'd say that the boys should be there and they deserve to be there, and the way they've performed this season has been exceptional.
Okay, and obviously scoring the winning goal against Denmark, you must have been proud of that one.
Yeah, it was good because it was a header, and obviously I don't score many of them, so it's always good for me to score headers. That's the one goal that if I score that, it feels different to any other goal to me for some reason. Do you have any of them like that where you?
Well, actually, my first goal for England was an header from about 2 yards out, so it would have been hard to miss. I probably scored seven for England, so you've nearly caught me already.
Nah. Got a long way to go.
No chance. Also, back to obviously England in the World Cup. One of the group games is against Uruguay, and our very own Luis Suarez.
Yeah.
Has the banter started flowing yet?
It hasn't because I think
Why?
once we get closer to it, it's going to start obviously, and I'm going to give him some stick. But now we're just focusing on the league and focusing on doing as well as we can here. But I'm sure 2 games to the end, before the end of the season, banter will start flying. We always banter anyway, not just me, but the other boys with him as well. But I'll be turning the heat up once.
Not leaving any England kits in his changing room.
No, I'll be doing all sorts. Before we get there, there's definitely going to be boots getting stolen and all sorts of crazy things. But
Well, make sure you don't steal them before the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely not. Last game of the season, all these boots will be coming with me.
You are obviously playing with Luis Suarez, and for me he's an exceptional player. How is he to play with?
As you say, he's exceptional. I feel that we complement each other's game, and he's different to me. The way he plays, I like to run him behind a lot more than he does. He likes to come short, he likes to dribble. We both love to win, we both love to score, we both love to assist, and I think we've assisted each other quite a few times this season. I gave him a couple at Sunderland and Stoke, and he did the same for me in Swansea and a few, and Stoke also as well. And I feel that we complement each other's game. We give each other chances. We miss chances. We shoot. We don't like when each other miss the chances. Of course, when we're there, and it's important. We're both happy to be part of what Liverpool's trying to do. So it's great.
Obviously, a big compliment I think from me is, I would love to play alongside both of us actually. I was lucky enough to play in Stephen's testimonial game.
I wanted to be there. I was injured, weren't I? I was devastated.
Probably why I was playing actually.
No, I was devastated.
Against,
I wanted to play in that.
Olympiacos, obviously with my tight Liverpool top on. That was a bit of a stitch up from the captain, I must admit. But I played with Luis Suarez, and at the time he was never played many pre-season games. He'd never trained many minutes, obviously because he'd been away with Uruguay, and he weren't really top of his game. At the minute, I was a little bit gutted because he actually put me through one little chance.
I saw it. I wanted you to score as well. I was devastated.
I was desperate.
I was up on my feet when you came on as well.
In front of the cop end as well, and I just never had the legs to get there. I was devastated. Probably I couldn't breathe because the top was too tight as well. That was To
be fair, I think when you play with Louis and you make runs off him, you're always going to get chances, and it's the same with Stevie as well. I mean, you've played with Stevie, and I feel that when you make them runs, you get chances. It's important when you got players who can feed you that you have to make the runs, don't you? And Louis is one of those players. He can pick you out, and I remember the chances he put you in across there, and you shot on your left, and it was unlucky.
Well, to be honest, I know I agree with you because I've watched the pair of you play, and whenever you make a run, more often than not he finds you. But I was a little bit disappointed in him, to be honest. I don't mean that as a player. I just mean he could have given it to me a little bit earlier.
We probably have
he just watched the clip. No, exactly. He must have known he hadn't got the legs, so he waited. So he could have given it to me earlier and let me have 15 yards space instead of 5 yards of space.
Obviously, you'd have had your moment, but That's Louis.
Again.
That's Louis.
Speaking of moments in front of the Kop, you've obviously had a few.
Yeah.
How special is it scoring at Anfield and in particular the Kop?
Beautiful feeling. It's hard to explain it because when you're not from, like I'm not from Liverpool. I mean, for you, you know, you've grown up in Liverpool and scoring in front of the Kop must have been, you know, something that you've always dreamed of. I mean, for me, it was never something that occurred to me, the feeling of it, because I'm not from Liverpool, but being here and being part of what the club's trying to do, and the club's rubbed off on me and the feelings rubbed off on me, and even when, you know, the songs get sung before the game and you score a goal in front of the Kop, even not just the Kop, but anywhere in the stadium, the fans are unbelievable, and you can't explain it. It's just the feeling that you have. You can't explain what it feels like.
Well, you've been here, I think, almost 2 years now.
Almost near enough 18 months.
Yeah. Well, so you've been here for that the 18 months, as you said, and I mean, you played many games. You played for, you know, some big sides. You know, admittedly, you know, obviously Manchester City, Chelsea, Liverpool. Bigger than what you thought?
No, I knew they were one of, if not the biggest club, you know, in the Premier League especially, but in the world as well. One of the biggest clubs in the world. And I knew that from years ago, from when the likes of you was playing here, from when, you know, the Champions Leagues were won, and the history of the club, when the guys were winning the Premier Leagues and European Cups also. So I knew it was a big club, and I knew it was it was going to be a change for me moving again to Liverpool and being here. But it's great to be a part of the history of the club, and hopefully we'll be able to create some history also.
Good man, good answer. Now, obviously, tell me about Brendan Rodgers. How good is he? I think he's brilliant from an outside point of view, but you're dealing with him, you know, week in, week out. I
think tactically, I think he's probably the best I've worked with, to be honest. In terms of the setup of the team and the way we go about our business, I think he's tactically the best I've worked with, and also from a man management point of view, he helps me a lot. He's always pushing me. He's always trying to get the best out of me and pushing me to my limits. And to be honest with you, I feel that he's helped me out so much in my career, and, you know, bringing me here and putting faith in me and helping me to succeed. And he's you know, he's done a lot for me, and I'll have to repay him as much as I can with good performances and helping the team have some success.
Well, do you feel obviously Brendan's style, and do you feel when you've got a manager like that, you know, you as a player want to do that a little bit more because he has probably more belief in you than probably what, and obviously, you know, you obviously correct me if I'm wrong, than what any other manager has had?
Yeah, I mean, alongside Owen Coyle, who was at Bolton, I mean, when the boss brought me here, he said he'd rang Owen Coyle and asked him, you know, what kind of person I was like and things like that. And I mean, the gaffer here is, as I said, he pushes the players to their limits, and he gets the best out of everybody. He's got a great philosophy in terms of how he wants the team to play, and I feel that the players that we've got here now, and not just the starting 11 but the squad, we're a strong squad, and there's players fighting for places, and you have to be on the top of your game in training just to make sure you keep your shirt. Okay, mate. Well, listen, one last question before we go, because it's obviously very cold coming up to the springtime. If we were to meet in 1 year's time, in 1 year's time, you know, what would you hope to be saying that you've achieved here, and obviously for England? Well, I'd like to say for Liverpool that we'd obviously be in the Champions League at that time, and I don't want to tempt fate and say we've won the Premier League, but, you know, I'd love to. I'm not going to lie. I think that England-wise, I'd say that if we can get, you know, to the latter stages in the World Cup, would be great. Again, I'd love to say we'd win it, because I'm a winner. I love to win, but it's a long way away from now, so I can't say yet. And on an individual point of view, I think just to keep improving, you know, keep working hard, keep pushing myself to my limits, and just try and help the team have success. That's the most important thing, I think. You know, hopefully to just be as successful as I can be. Okay, well, listen, thanks very much. Thank you very much. Good luck for the rest of the season, and of course, good luck in the World Cup. Thank you very much.